Here we are, Monday, lovely Monday. Hello, everybody. Look forward to this wonderful week ahead. Looks like it's going to be a big one. Yay! Today, I had a thought about a topic that I think would be advantageous to share with you. And it's called The Art of Allowing. Hi, Cheryl Anderson here. This topic I had never thought about until I watched some Echkart Tolle. I don't know if you're aware of him or you've heard of him before. He's a motivational speaker, or well, maybe not motivational, an amazing man. I will actually put the link here. You can go and check some of his stuff out. Anyway, I digress. When I read this part about the art of allowing, at first I thought, allow, because I think part of me was a bit assumed that I had to allow poor behaviour, or I had to allow maybe to be like downtrodden, or in my mind weaker if I had to allow something, but in truth, what it is, it's about allowing the things that around you, that go on around you, is allowing them to happen without having to intervene or change it or move its direction or try to get a different outcome or to stop people doing things that you don't want them to do. The biggest one I found, for me, the biggest one was people. Because I guess if I look back now, I can't give a specific situation where let's say something was going on and I was emotionally hurting, or it was tearing me up and making me or upset. Where what would happen is I would start to go into, not allowing it, right? The act of would be to not allow it, but to want to steer it somewhere else. And the whole idea, when I realised in the end what was happening in that instant, was I was trying to eliminate my emotional pain, or what I had to deal with emotionally, by changing their actions. You see? So I was trying to choreograph somebody else's life so that I wouldn't feel the emotional upset or burden or worry or, something negative. This was a really eye-opening thing for me when it came to looking at my son and realising, even though I've been a very a liberal parent, I very much believe in standing on your own 2 feet and, asking for help for sure, but standing on your own 2 feet, being independent, doing what you want to do, get out there, carve your niche, carve your path. But in fact, what was happening, there were times that I could see he was going to be heading in a direction that it was just like, it freaked me out as a mother. It might have been dangerous or costly or I don't know, whatever it'd be, silly, dangerous, usually dangerous with sons, right? And then when I realised that I was trying to change the outcome so I wouldn't feel pain. So on reflection of that, I realised, even though I was, like I said, I really wanted him to be independent and individual, and I really supported him in that, but I was sticking my nose in and trying to change something to suit myself. And then really, when I noticed it, good God, it was horrible. I thought, I'm not doing that. Oh, and it was really horrible. It left a bad taste in my mouth. I felt dreadful and selfish that I was trying to change something to suit myself. But then I realized also, I didn't know what I was doing, and that now I'd gotten to a point where I did know what I was doing. And that's that moment when you have to take the weight. You have to be able to sit with the weight of what you've done or what you've been doing or what your practices were, what your bad habits were, how you would stick your nose in or whatever. It's always embarrassing or a little bit, it doesn't feel good. And I didn't feel good when I realised this, about my son. So I sat with it, with the feeling uncomfortable, and I looked at it, and no, it's not who I thought I was, but we're never who we think we are anyway, trust me. We're a little bit of everything. We just choose to be, better people in our mind. So that was a really big lesson for me to understand the art of allowing, because I had a more practical example to look at. So when it came to, my family's like everybody else's, you've got the token everybody. There were some situations that were difficult, really difficult, to know what was going on, to realise that I had no power to change it. It was not my right to change it or to change that person, even though, and look, really it comes from the goodness of your heart a lot of the time. You so desperately want to help them or steer them in a better direction or something maybe to save them money or time or heartache. It's not anybody's right to get into somebody else's life and orchestrate it or steer it, unless it's a child. I mean, unless your child's young, of course, you need to. But I always turn things around. Like if somebody was trying to orchestrate your life so it wouldn't hurt them, same story I've just said, but change the players, the actors. Well, you'd be really pissed off. I would be. I'd be like, well, I'm not here to please you or to make your life better. So in doing it to other people, one, it's never going to work for a start, because you can't be them 24/7 anyway. You can't think like them in the first place. So you never know where they're coming from. So any point of intervention or sticking your nose in, only you think you're doing it at the right time. You're not them. You're not in their process. You're not living their life. You don't know. And in actual fact, it can start to cause extra stress for that person as well, because they're getting that vibe. It's not a sense of, hello, Susan and Scott. Woo-hoo. You change their vibe because you're putting this want or this need or this emphasis on changing their behavior. Whether they notice it or not, they're getting the feeling. And if it's a feeling that you are not agreeing with them, or you're not giving the okay, you're not, what's that word I want? Approval. So it's actually a stress. It's this weird thing. We're all made up of energy. We all vibrate on different frequencies at different times of the day. I mean, God, I can be up here and then I'm down here and then I'm back up here. And so everyone is vibrating. And we so desperately need each other to just get the hell out of each other's lives. Just let someone be. Just let them be. Let yourself be. Live your own life. So back to the art of allowing. So this is when you just look at something and realize, why am I trying to change this? Who am I to try to change this? But why am I trying to change this or this person or this person's decision? And I'll bet you any money it always comes back to how it's going to make you feel, because you're trying to avoid pain. Because there's two things humans want. One, we want to, whatever it gives us pleasure, we want more of that. And anything that takes pain away, we want that. They're two things. And I mean, it's a widely known thing in the consumer society. Give people more joy or take their pain away. That's the two motivating factors for us to get off our ass and do anything. So if you go back to this art of allowing, you realize that what you are trying to do is, you think it's to give them more joy. But no, it's not. It's actually simply because you don't want to feel the pain. So you want to shift their actions so that you can feel joy. Do you see? So in that act of doing that, you disarm that person. You take away from them their ability to live their life the way they want. Look, if they're going to screw up, they're going to screw up. Hey, look, I made it. I'm here. I live a really wonderful life. But man, have I screwed up along the way. I could write a book, I could write an epic, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? Oh my God, everybody's done it. But it's not the, they're not the things that make us. It's how we got on after them that makes us. But we need to go through these problems so that we get to the other side, we understand the solution, and we grow from this. So trying to change somebody would be taking away from their growth, wouldn't it? It would be, because you would be taking away their learning, and you have no right. Nobody has a right to do that. Again, unless it's a child or it's someone who can't think for themselves, or, there's exceptions, obviously, and we're all thinking people. We can work out what the exceptions are, and they're not who I'm talking about right now. But the art of allowing also stretches to situations, occurrences as well. There are things that are going to happen that you have no power over. You can get uppity, snippety, pissed off, annoyed, whatever, but you're not going to have power over it. And it might be something you don't agree with. Like, let's face it, politics. This is a really good place to practice, right? There's a lot of stuff that gets you riled and angry or annoyed or upset or really hurt. But here's the thing. It's about allowing those things. It doesn't mean you agree with them. I'm not saying that. But you simply step back and you allow the world to be how it is. Let it take its pace. Let it express itself how it does. Let it go to, hello, in the direction it needs to go, and let everybody else go in the direction they need to go. Because when you can allow, what happens is, one, I stop stressing. Oh my God, I stopped stressing. I was an overthinker. Man, I could think and think and think 24/7. Things going all the time. I think that's what these are for. The one thing I noticed, I had a whole lot of less shit in my head. I had a whole lot of less of that, that feeling you get in your solar plexus when you're upset or you're annoyed or it's niggling at you and you want to say something or you want to do something about a situation, but you don't know how to go about it, so you're just going to think about it. And if you're like me, you would just think about it so much that I would create scenarios that weren't real, stories that weren't real. So I was just subjecting myself to this unnecessary thought, which creates emotion. So I'm going through all of this thought and emotion. My body's feeling this, yet nothing's happening. I'm just having a thought on something out there in the world. And for all my effort, nothing's going to change. So when in wisdom I realized, okay, I don't have to agree with it, don't have to like it, that's for sure. But in the art of allowing, I just remove myself from the situation and off it goes, it does its thing. And I then in turn allow myself to live my life the way that I choose. And if somebody postures to want to stick their nose in, that's okay, I understand where they're coming from. If they don't pull their nose out, then I will speak to them or say something or teach them this, the art of allowing. You need to learn to allow. But it's a really, really good thing, especially in a modern world where everything is just like really wacky doodle sometimes. And there's so much going on. We're bombarded. We get on Facebook. We're bombarded. People read the newspaper, watch telly, listen to the news, magazines, movies, music videos, all of this sort of stuff is just an absolute full-on barrage. And I'll tell you one thing that mainstream media is really good for, and it's a negative, is they push for you to have an opinion on every damn thing. Every damn thing. Now, an opinion is just like that saying years ago. It's like a butt crack. Everyone has one, but not everyone wants to see yours. And it's very true. An opinion is a good thing. Does this colour go good for me? An opinion. Do you think we should go to Italy or should we go to America? Should we, I don't know, there's benign things that you have an opinion on. Did you think the steak was overcooked or undercooked? But having opinions on situations, people, organizations, processes, all of this stuff that you're forced to have an opinion on is all bullshit. And all it does, once you come in with an opinion, now you've added energy to it. Now you get in this whirly. You're part of the eddy. You get in, it's much harder to get out. Because now you have an opinion and now you're listening to everybody else's opinion, which isn't like yours. That'll happen a lot too. So then next thing you're angry because someone has an opinion that's not like yours. So if they're having that opinion that's different, you immediately assume that they're just disagreeing with you. I mean, it's very ego-driven, isn't it? They're just having an opinion. An opinion is nothing, absolutely nothing. Yet it can rile people up. It can make people angry enough they will kill each other. They will harm each other. They will say stuff they don't mean. They will harm people around them, all for an opinion. It's not even real. And your opinion this morning can be very different to your opinion tonight on the same thing. So, to be able to go to the art of allowing, which is simply just to choose your vibration, which is going to be, do you know what? I'm just not going to buy into all of that crap. Doesn't concern me. The day it does, and if me having an opinion or needing to say something is justified or warranted, I will. However, for now, I'm going to concentrate on this life right now. Where am I when I'm taking breath? That's my life. Wherever I draw breath. Here's my now, and it's in my lounge room here in lovely Scarborough. I don't know the rest of the world might not even exist. Think about that. We only know what we see and what's around us. Anyway, that's a very big universal chat, that one, so we won't go there. I try to stay away from the really, really big chats. I try to keep it practical. However, I like the big universal thoughts. The bigger than humans, you know, way bigger than humans. However, let's come back. Imagine if everybody decided to employ the art of allowing and just not have an opinion, pardon me, unless someone's in your face, you know, wrecking your yard, being a dick, whatever. You know, I mean, they're the things, obviously, you stand up, say something or stop them. But if everybody would just allow people, occurrences and situations just to happen, don't bother with it, get on with your own life. What's happening where you're breathing? Oh, look, there's a bird. Oh, look, this is going on. Oh, look, I've got this great view. Look at those wonderful trees. Oh, my gosh. Oh, what a great day. Do you know what I mean? I get to live in a space where it's harmonious for me, or every cell in my body is happy, instead of burdening my thoughts with this ongoing story that's usually so monotonous that in the end it's so boring you could fall asleep. So staying where you take breath, this is excellent to teach kids. Do you know what I mean? These are coping skills. I guess what I talk about in all of my videos are about coping skills, how to look at things in a really fundamental way, in a human way, so that we can break stuff down. Because even though we live in this brain, yes, it helps us do stuff, not many people are actually in much control of the thoughts. So there comes a thought, then there's an emotion, then there comes an action. So imagining if you can actually do something about the thought, the outcome changes. So a government's never going to fix this for you. A church is never going to fix this for you. And I'm sorry, I don't mean this in a bad way. Your neighbours can't do it. A boyfriend or a girlfriend can't do it. Your pets can't do it. $1 million can't do it. Nothing outside of your skin can do this. It's all in here. And everyone has it. This is why I do my videos, is just to talk about these things so that each person just goes off and thinks about, oh, well, that's a different way to do it. I never thought about that. Oh, that's a different angle. Joe, oh, that's cool. I'll do that. Pardon me. It's about, like I said, I'm really a believer in helping people to where they don't need help anymore. You know, I mean, all people want is just to live a good life. you know, have a free mind, have a vibrant spirit, to live in a world, in a life that's creative, that's harmonious, that you feel love and security and support. Everybody's the same, unless you're psychopathic or psychotic. That's a whole other thing, right? Again, a whole other thing. So I'm all about the things that are going to bring some harmony. And they're also things, like I said, you can teach kids so that when they grow up, you know what I mean? You can't be there when your child has every difficult time. You know, most of the times you don't even know they're having it, right? We've all been kids. Did you tell your parents everything? I know I didn't. You know, because you're trying so hard to be so grown up. I can do this, I can do this. So you bluff your way through most of it. So the only things that I know that got me through life was, a lot of it was what I was taught by my mum, my dad, you know, and things I picked up along the way that have gotten me to a point where I have control over what goes on in here. I mean, I have days that I could be feeling a bit down, and obviously it's that frequency, when the vibration comes down, then what happens is all the thoughts that are like that come in. You can't stop it. It's like if you tune a radio station to a country and western channel, you're not going to hope to hear classical music, are you? No. If you want classical music, you have to change the dial to the frequency that comes in on. So if you imagine that you're a radio dial, so right down the bottom end is, you know, oh, I don't feel great. That's when you get all the crappy situations happen, because you're just attracting everything that functions on that vibration. Now me, I like the vibration, because only great things come in, you know. You might have forgotten to ring up make an appointment for something. Next thing, those people ring you out of the blue. Hi, I just noticed that, you know, you hadn't made an appointment. Do you want to make one? Or you're meant to call a friend, or you're meant to do, I don't know, just all these really wonderful serendipitous things happen when you're up on a higher vibration. And that's where I'm about. That's where I think, forget about life, forget about the money, forget about all the other things that you chase, because that's been ingrained into you. We get conditioned from a very young age, right? Conditioned to obey authority, you know. This is what school's all about. Just to pummel it into you to shut up and don't ask questions. But if you come out of this and you realise that that's just a vibratory state that they want us to be in, so we be good consumers, and go home and just have barbecues and watch sport and shut up. Don't question the hierarchy. My whole thing is about getting to the point where your vibration is high enough that your life, where you're breathing, that breathing every day, all of those things that are coming to you at that moment, the phone calls, the great things that happen, the driving down the road, quickly running to the shops, oh my God, I forgot something, gee, I need that. You drive down and there's that perfect parking spot right where you want it. When you go, you know, you feel really good, right? So what's happening is this vibration brings certain things in. Your government can't get you this. Like I said, a boyfriend, a husband, a job, nothing gets you this. Nothing. But how you choose to think, which is, like I said, my videos are all about that kind of thing. So for today, thank you for tuning in. And look, God love you. Hi, Scott. And hi, Susan. I've been loving your photos, love. I've been watching them online. So that's my Monday video. Try it. It's worth it. And I will add the Echkart Tolle address so you can go and listen to a few of his things. He's quite dry to start off with. He's an unusual man. He's lived a very unusual life. I mean, a very unusual life. But he has a very quirky sense of humour, but he is very, what's that word? No. He sits and thinks before he answers questions. So he will go into moments of quiet. And then he answers. And at first I thought, what are you doing? And then I realised he's actually really thinking about how he will, what is the best answer for this situation. I mean, I love him. My friends and I, we listen to Echkart lots. Here you can get him on Facebook too. So there's very small little videos come through. There's most of the times they're about 1 minute 45, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3, and they just touch on smaller things. But he, to me, when he was on Oprah, that was where I first saw him. And he wrote A New Earth, and Oprah's book club had read it. And the women in there they had tears. They said they never read anything like this. They were blown away. Oprah said, it's the book I leave on my bedside table, and I read it every night. I mean, the guy is amazing. And I don't even think he has an ego. So like I said, that's where I learned this and many other wonderful, wonderful things. So if you're looking to create a higher vibration where you want to start to do these things, you want to start to live that life where really cool happenings and good timing and serendipitous things are happening for you, where you're just not having to sweat stuff, well, then this is how you go about it. There's some wonderful, wonderful information out there that over time I will continue to share. But Echkart is definitely, and you can listen to him free. There's lots of free stuff on YouTube and on Facebook, like I said. If you can download stuff, you can usually download, there's videos of him when he does retreats, and they're very good too, very, very good. So I'll leave you with that today, the art of allowing. And I mean, I endorse it fully. I think it's a marvelous thing to do for the self. And now I've explained it a little, you can realize that it really is a wonderful thing to do for others. Husbands, wives, kids, people at work, as many things as you can think of. So anyway, thank you very much today for coming and listening today. And I look forward to talking again on Wednesday. So I'll be back again on Wednesday doing my live at midday. I'm just tweaking times at the moment. It could be a little later. I'm just trying to work out when's the best time to do anything. I'm not a techie guru when it comes to that. Anyway, thanks a bunch, everybody. Take care, and I will see you on Wednesday. See ya.